Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. Let's see. View option. Oh, it updated my. It updated all my stuff. Now I got a side-by-side gallery. Okay. No, I don't want that.
You look like you're lost.
Yeah, because it updated my. I knew all the controls and I had updated my stuff. Rabbeinu, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank God.
Good.
Live on YouTube. Okay.
Broadcast to the world.
Yeah.
One here. Maybe one underneath here.
See?
I'm not sure. I'll put out.
Oh, no. It's not. Can't. There's no way. Can't. Can I?
Rabbi Greenberg, are you able to hear me? I feel like he's not connected to the audio. That's Hey, good evening to all those of you who are just joining us. Just trying to take care of a technical detail, and we will get started hopefully in just a couple of moments. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our program this evening as we are going to hear from a distinguished guest speaker and amazing rabbi here in Westchester. We'll introduce him in just a moment, but I just want to give some acknowledgement before we get going tonight. We have completed all 5 books of the Torah in terms of this undertaking of the collective conversation. With a big thank you to Steve Smith for organizing week after week a different member of the community writing a Dvar Torah that is published in the bulletin and also available every Shabbat when we come into the shul. It is an amazing feat that we have made it from last year, beginning of Shemot, to where we are now as we start again. And it continues into a second cycle. So for those of you, we have already a number of people who have joined us tonight on Zoom, which is incredible. Steve Smith will be taking down your name as you're tonight in the participants list. I'm just kidding, but if you really want to join and write a Dvar Torah, even if you want to plan ahead for for 10, 20 weeks from now, please get in touch with Steve to arrange that. It's a wonderful opportunity to join the collective conversation of Torah in our community. It is, I'm going to stop the screen share here so we can all see each other. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome tonight into our virtual midst, though Rabbi Greenberg certainly is in our midst in a very a real way in the Westchester community. He is Rabbi Shmuel Greenberg is a Rav, an esteemed Rav here in the Westchester community. The Rav of the Young Israel of White Plains is somebody that I know that Rabbi Morgenstern and I greatly look up to as rabbis here in the local community. Rabbi Greenberg has smicha from the Mir Yeshiva. He's a musmach of the Mir Yeshiva, and as well, he received personal smicha from Rav Moshe Feinstein. Rav Greenberg is a Talmid Chacham par excellence, and perhaps that is only matched by his gentle and warm nature and his kindness with which he shows to everybody that he ever comes into contact with, myself included. And so it is my great pleasure tonight to have Rabbi Greenberg introduce for us Sefer Shemot as we head to this Shabbos and we begin the book of Shemot. Rabbi Greenberg, please take it away. I'm going to spotlight him for everybody.
Okay, so tonight is an unusual night. I'm actually talking on 2 machines. Yeah, there's an old saying, talking both sides out of your mouth. Tonight I'm actually doing it. I have one machine on one side, one machine on the other, and they're 2 Zoom machines, and we're going to make it work. I was hoping to make it work. 1 second. Got it. Okay, and I know Yasher Koach to everybody who comes on every week to our Wednesday night learning. It's a pleasure, and tonight it's a joint effort of the Sefer from White Plains together with the Sefer from the Young Israel of Scarsdale, Rabbi Morgenstern, Rabbi Klinger, Steve Smith, who organized this program. And certainly I'm very connected to Steve. I taught both his boys. And so tonight it's, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Likewise, it's a great opportunity for me. It's a great opportunity for me to say special thanks to the Scarsdale community. It's a year ago, just about to the day, using the English date, that I woke up. I came out of my coma, and I know that the Scarsdale community were very, very involved in saying Tehillim on a regular basis. And Baruch Hashem, that the Tehillim worked. And how do I know that the Tehillim worked? Because my doctors told me. I met the doctors. I had the best doctors in NYU, top of the line. They all came over to me. I met them recently at a wedding, and they all came over to me, and they all said, they gave me their official medical diagnosis. And they said 2 words. They said a miracle and an inspiration. And clearly, if my doctors are calling it a miracle, that is the official medical diagnosis. So I want to thank the Scarsdale community and the other community, and let's get started. That's what we're here to learn. We're here to learn Torah tonight. Now, what I was asked to do is to give an introduction to the book of Shemot. Now, the book of Shemot, I think the best way to start the book of Shemot is by starting the very first pasuk of Shemot. Now, the book is called the book of Shemot. Some reason they call it Exodus, but Shemot doesn't mean Exodus. Shemot means names. And clearly that's what the book is about. I don't know who gave it that name. It seems to have stuck. But the book is Shemot, names. And it's not even the first word of the book. Like Bereshis, it's the first word. Vayikra, it's the first word. It's Eilesh ve'Eilesh Shemos, and these are the names. So we have to discuss a little bit what is the essence of names. And to fully appreciate what the book of Shemos is about, we're going to start looking at the beginning. We're going to see it's the beginning of part of Shemos. Then we go, the middle part of Shemos is Matan Torah, the giving of the Har Sinai, the 10 Commandments in the Torah. And then the last part of Shemos is the building of the Mishkan, and how are they all tied together? And we're not going to tie them all together tonight. We don't want to be here till the end of Parashas reading Chumash Shemos, but just a little bit of an introduction to gain an appreciation of Shemos. So let's look at the very, very first pasuk in the Sefer Shemos. I asked everybody to have a Chumash in front of them. So I do hope you have a Chumash, so we could read it. Let's read the first pasuk together. And you're going to have to tell me what is very difficult, actually I would say a little strange, even about the very first pasuk of Shemos. It starts off, Eila Shemos B'nai Yisrael. These are the names of the Jewish people, Habaim Mitzrayma, coming to Egypt. Eis Yaakov, together with Yaakov, Ish Ubeiso Ba'u, a man and his household, they came. And then it says, Ruvain, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, and it lists all the 12 Shvatim by name. Now, looking back at the first pasuk, you have to, let me ask you like this. If you got a degree in pasuk surgery, you were able to get such a degree, and you looked at the first pasuk of Shemos, you would say, my goodness, this pasuk sounds exceptionally redundant. It sounds very excessive. And then as we're going to learn it, and we'll see that it sounds excessive, it also seems to be contradictory. So let's see the pasuk. It says, Ve'ela Shemos B'nai Yisrael, Haba'im Mitzrayim. Let's focus on the very first half of the pasuk. These are the names of the children of Yisrael, the B'nai Yisrael. That's what we are called as a nation. Haba'im Mitzrayim. Now, we know, what does the word Ba'im mean in Hebrew? Ba'im in Hebrew means present tense, that are coming. Now, you have to ask yourself, the beginning of Sefer Shemos, nobody's coming anymore to Mitzrayim. A matter of fact, we know from the end of last week's Parsha that we know it's explicitly Yosef died already, and could be other Shvatim. Certainly, they came in Parshas Vayigash. That being the case, what does it mean in the beginning of Chumash Shemos? Ve'ela Shemos B'nai Yisrael Haba'im Mitzrayim. These are the names of the Jewish people coming to Mitzrayim. They already came. Now, this question is really compounded. It's compounded by the end of the pasuk, which seems to get it right. And at that point, we have a contradiction between the first part of the pasuk and the last part. Let's see the end of the pasuk. It says, Eis Yaakov, with Yaakov, Ish Ubeito, a man and his household, Bo, they came. So here we're saying that they came already. And in the first part of the pasuk, we're saying, Ba'im, that they're coming. Did they come or are they coming? Because clearly they came already. So how do you have in one pasuk such a almost a blatant contradiction? That it says in the beginning, Ba'im, they are coming, which is problematic because they're not. But be it as it may, at the end of the pasuk says, Bo, that they came. How do we reconcile that? Let's look a little further. Let's sharpen our knives. Here you have in the second pasuk, it gives the names of the Shvatim, Ruvain, Shimon, Levi, etc., all the Shvatim. That being the case, why does the pasuk Aleph have to say Ve'ela Shemos b'nei Yisrael? These are the names. If I'm giving you the names, if I'm telling you I'm taking a list of people, I'm going with a list of people on a tour. So I say I'm going with Yankel, I'm going with Moshe. I don't have to say these are the names of the people I'm taking, Yankel and Moshe. If I'm saying these are the people I'm taking, or these are the people I'm going with, I don't have to say, I say Mr. Goldstein, Mr. Warsaw, who knows, pick a name. I don't want to pick a name of somebody listening tonight. I don't know, they might take offense to it, but what is if I'm saying the names, I don't have to say these are the names of the people and this is their name. It should simply say, these are the Bnei Yisrael, Reuven, Shimon, Levi. What I have to say, these are the names. The pasuk could have read as follows. Let's a little surgery. Ve'ela Bnei Yisrael, these are the Bnei Yisrael, Haba'im Mitzrayma, Eis Yaakov Ishu Beiso Bo, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. These are the Bnei Yisrael, came Reuven, Shimon, and so on. What I have to say, these are the names. It's pretty obvious. If I'm giving you the names, that's their names. Then we have to further look into the pasuk. The first half of the pasuk and the second half of the pasuk, putting aside the contradiction, what seemingly is a contradiction, it seems to be redundant. It says, "Ve'elu shmos b'nei Yisrael habayim Mitzrayma," and I could have. These are the names of the b'nei Yisrael coming to Mitzrayim, and it could have skipped right away. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Why do I need the last part of the pasuk? Eis Yaakov, with Yaakov, Ishu Beiso Bo, a man in his household came. You take the pasuk could have read beautifully if you didn't have that last half of the pasuk, and it would have said Ve'ela Shemos b'nei Yisrael habayim Mitzrayma, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. Well, what is the second half of the pasuk teaching me? Let's sharpen the knife even further. We don't need the word Shemos. We don't need the last half of the pasuk. It could have said Ve'ela b'nei Yisrael habayim Mitzrayma, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. We're narrowing it down pretty much at this point. Then, the obvious question is, this pasuk was already told to us. So you could take out the whole pasuk. If you have your chumash in front of you, let's take a look at the chumash. Everybody, if you have, I'm using a blue art scroll, so to me it's on page 258. Anybody who has any type of chumash, it's in Vayigash, Perek Mem Vav, pasuk Ches. Well, we look back, Perek Mem Vav, pasuk Ches. It says the following: Ve'ela Shemais b'nei Yisrael haba'im Mitzrayma, Yaakov u'banav, and it says the names. So this pasuk was said in Vayigash. What is it repeating itself in Shmos now? Now, when it says it in Vayigash, the word ba'im is appropriate. It doesn't say the word ba'u, they came, because in Vayigash, they're in the process of coming. So there, it's obvious it has to say ba'im. So all the information that we start Chumash Shemos with, we had in Parshas Vayigash. How do we understand this? How do we approach and gain an understanding of what the Chumash is telling us and what Chumash Shemos is telling us? Now, keep in mind that Chumash Shemos, it's again mentioned, it's called Exodus. I think we should Exodus from that name. It's about names. You have, well, just in this week's parsha alone, you have it's all about names. We have the names of the people who came, the sons of Yaakov. Then if you look a little later, Perek Aleph, when it speaks about the Mialdos, the midwives who saved the Jewish children, and that is Perek Aleph, Pasuk Tezvav, Vayomer Melech Mitzrayim LaMialdos Ivrios, that the king of Egypt said to the midwives, Asher Shem Ha'achas Shifra V'Shem Hashem is Pur. The name of the first one was Shifra, and the name of the second is Pur. What is it? Why does it have to say even the word name? It could have said, Vayomer Melech Mitzrayim LaMialdos Ivrios, that the king of Egypt said to the Jewish midwives, Ha'achas Shifra, Hashenis Pur. Well, you don't even need Achas and Shenis for that matter. It could have said Shifra and Pur. Then you have another pasuk, all in Parshas Shemos. We're not even touching Parshas Vayera yet, because we're going to see Parshas Vayera picks up where Parshas Shemos leaves off. Look at this pasuk. Tell me what this pasuk tells you. Hashem sees Moshe, the famous story, the burning bush, the sneh. And Hashem tells Moshe to tell the Jewish people that their time of redemption has come. And look at Pasuk Yud Gimel. If that's Perek Gimel, Pasuk Yud Gimel. It says that Hashem tells Moshe, I'm the God of your forefathers. I'm coming to redeem the Jewish people. Vayomer Moshe Elokim. Moshe tells Hashem, Hinei anochi ba el bnei Yisrael v'amarti lahem. I'm going to come to the Jewish people and I'm going to tell them, Elokei aboseichem shulachani aleichem. The God of your forefathers has sent me to you. For Omruli, and they're going to say to me, Ma Shema, what's his name? Ma'imar aleim, what should I tell them? Now this is kind of a strange question by Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu says, I'm going to tell them it's the God of their forefathers. But they're going to ask me, what's his name? He just said who sent him. And then Hashem answers Moshe. That says, Hashem tells Moshe, that's a great question. Tell them, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. That's my name, Ehyeh. A new name. I thought it's the God of the forefathers, now it's Ehyeh. Now, just to take a peek, we're going to stop here, but just take a quick peek at the beginning of next week's Parsha, so you have a week to think about it. Look at the beginning of Parshas Va'era, which is Perek Vav, Pasuk Beis and Gimel. Vayidaber Elokim el Moshe vayemer elav ani Hashem. He's saying, I'm Hashem. Va'era el Avraham el Yitzchak el Yaakov bekel Shakai u'shmi Hashem lo nadati. But the Shmi Hashem, that I didn't. What? He's telling his name is all different types of names. How do we understand this? How do we understand what is the two things. How do we learn Pshat in the Chumash? And what does it tell me as a person? There have to be two aspects here. Let's go back to the first pasuk. The very first pasuk that we had says, we already went through it. Ve'ela Shemos b'nei Yisrael haba'im Mitzrayim. These are the names of the Jewish people that are coming to Egypt. Eis Yaakov ishu beiso bo. But a man and his family, they came. Coming. And we know this information. I showed you in Parshas Vayigash, very clear. This information is spelled out. There is no new information, ostensibly, in this pasuk that I don't know from the previous parsha. Therefore, what must we conclude? The Torah is telling us that not that the Jewish children, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, came down to Mitzrayim. That we know. Not only that, they came and they've gone, they died. They're certainly not coming anymore. What is the pasuk telling me? The pasuk is telling me that they, as people, ishu beiso bo. They've come and they've gone. But Shemos, their name, what they represent, that is in the present tense. The characteristics of the Shvatim, their attributes, their characteristics, that is in the present tense and is still coming to the Jewish people on a regular basis. If you look in the Gemara in Brachos Daf Zayin Amud Beis, where it says that a name tells you everything. So it says, Leah said about Reuven. Reuven is the sense of Re'iyah, Reuven. See my son, what he was, how gracious he was. Reuven was the gift of seeing. Shimon was the gift of listening. Levi is a characteristic of, we know the word Levaya, unfortunately, but it means Levaya is to accompany. Someone comes to your house, you malava them, you accompany them to the door, showing that you're going with them, you feel connected. Yehuda is Hodah, being thankful. We have a lot to be thankful for. And this is what the pasuk is telling us. These are the names of the Jewish people, of the Shvatim. And that is still in the present tense. Despite the fact, Ishu Beiso Bo, a man and his family, they came in the past. But now this is a collective entity of a pool of characteristics that Bnei Yisrael are built on. That's the fiber, that's the fabric from which we are, the cloth from which we are made. And this is, Shemos is telling us, you have to identify characteristics and be able to connect to it. I remember my Rabbi Ramosha Shapiro would often say, the word shame in Hebrew is shin mem shame. The same letters, but a little phonetic difference becomes sham. Sham means there. Why they spelt the same way and almost sound the same way? Because a shame, a name, should describe what's there and enable me to identify and connect. If I could catch somebody's name and identify what they are, then I could connect to them. And this is what the Moshe was anticipating the question from the Jewish people. They know it's the God of their forefathers, but they're asking, Ma Shemo, what's his name? In other words, how do I connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? How are the Jews going to want to know, but what's their connect? And Hashem says, tell them, it's a good question. Yeah, I'm there with them. They're in distress, I'm there with them. That's my name, meaning that's how you connect to me. And that's how we become one. That's what a name is all about. Being able to identify, be able to define characteristics, and then absorb that and make that part of you. This is what we're told to do with the Shvatim, because their names and what they represented is in the present tense. And that's for everything. We deal with the Miyaldos. It doesn't say Asher Echad Shifra Ve'echad Pua. No, Asher Shem Ha'echad. Know what they are. What they're doing is a reflection of a deep rooted feeling and compassion. That's who they are. You're relating to Hashem. But what's the connect? It's not just a name. You stop somebody in the street or you call a name. Then, sometimes you're in a crowd and they'll say, is Mr. Greenberg here? That's not a connect. To us, names are connects. And that's all of Shemos. You have to be able to identify and then connect. And this is the human experience of Chumash Shemos. Now, who was the very first person who gave names? And that we know was Adam Harishon. It says Adam Harishon gave names to all of creation. If you have a Chumash in Parshas Bereshis, Perik Beis, Pasuk Yutes, Perik 2, Pasuk 19, says, Vayitzer Hashem Elokim min ha'adama, or the Chayos Hasad, etc. And he brought him to Adam, V'chol asher yikra lo ha'adam nefesh chaya hu Shemo. That's the name of that creature. Because Adam had to identify and connect to each creature in the world. And now we're upping the ante in Chumash Shemos. We're connecting to each other as a community, and we're connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as one who redeems us. And that is the first part of Shemos. No names. They tell you in business, they always tell you when you speak to someone, if you can pick it up quick, call them by their name. Even in a superficial way, it creates a certain connect. Certainly when we're speaking about Divrei Kedusha, relationships of holiness, that's what that you get the name. It all is in the name. What's in a name? Everything. And that's the key to connect. Now I'm just going to spend 2 more minutes, a little connect to the middle of the parsha, the Torah, and then the end part of the Chumash, the Torah, and then the end part of the Chumash, which is the Mishkan. And the idea is we're told, and the elaboration on this is not for now, but again, you'll have what to look for, that the Torah is, every word of Torah is a name of Hashem. It's Shemosav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's names of Hashem. In what sense? Again, every word gives me a different type of connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So if I master Shemos in understanding people, community, my relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I take up the ante. Now I'm ready to learn Torah. Because it's all about connects. That's why we say in brachos in the morning, V'lomdei sorasecha lishma, for the namesake. And then what is the end of the parsha, the end of the Chumash that speaks about the Mishkan? Because if you understand a connect and it becomes a genuine connect, then you have a marriage. The Mishkan was a place of permanence between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that is possible because we connect we identify and connect in the absolute sense. It's for that reason, I believe, the custom is that they read the ksuba under the chuppah. Why do they need to read the ksuba under the chuppah? It's a marriage contract. So sign it and put it in the vault or hang it on the wall. They want under the chuppah to say the names of the chassan and kala, because that's what a marriage is about. That's a relationship. Is shame, you call each other by name, but it's because sham, you know what's there, that inner essence. And that's the relationship between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu in such a permanent fashion that we have a Mishkan together. And this is the book of Shemot, the book of names. So everybody, we should live the book of Shemot. And in Mirz Hashem, we will be successful in the trip through Shmos till you get to Vayikra, and Mirz Hashem, you'll have somebody picking up from there. So thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you everybody for coming on. Everybody have a good Shabbos. Everybody have a meaningful Chumash Shmos.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi Greenberg.
Good.
You
Thank you, everybody. Good. Good night, everybody. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good Shabbos.
Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. I can't see everybody.
You want to take a few questions? Any chance you want to take a few questions?
Take questions. I can't see anybody. Is there?
Here, let's. Here, I'm gonna. There we go. Now you'll be able to see anybody who has a question. Anybody here have a question for Rabbi Greenberg before we call it a night?
All right. I think the question is.
Carol.
I think the question is, are you finished yet? And the answer is yes. The answers are finished.
Carol, go ahead. I see you on.
All righty. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
You have a question from Carol. Go ahead, Carol. Can you?
Carol is muted.
You have to unmute yourself, Carol.
Yeah, great.
Right.
Thank you. I was just going to ask, I mean, you often hear, I've heard explanations, but I'm just curious if you have a comment in light of this, that in the very beginning, though, when we're hearing about Moshe's family, there are no names. You know, it's an Ish from the tribe of Levi and whatever. And I'm just
that the rabbi will talk about.
Okay.
On Shabbos, I'm sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Greenberg, for a wonderful
Have a
share.
good Shabbos and be well, everybody. Take care.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you for this
Shabbos.
opportunity.
Yasher Koach.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Rabbi Klinger, can I ask you a question?
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Could you send me the recording?
Yeah, absolutely.